Hey everybody, Aaron here, and welcome back to another anime review. Today we are looking at Kubikiri Cycle, or Zaregototsukai series episode 6. Now guys and girls, I'm so sorry, but you know how the series is. It releases every month, and for the most part, finding it online is a pain in the ass, just to be very blunt about that. I have been looking day and day and day, every single website to find this damn thing, and I just now thought, oh, let me go check this website. I should have done that before. It was on there. It was released a few days ago, so this obviously is a few days old, but I can't do anything about that, unfortunately, guys. I'm not really worried 100% about reviewing this series on time anyways, because for the most part, it has never done, even when I got on the day it released, I never got a review out that ever did that great besides the first two. I think did very well, and the rest have kind of died out, less than 100 with each one, but it's okay. I'm doing this for the few of you that you're watching this show and you're watching with me and you want to see the reviews of it. I'm also doing it for myself because I love this show, so there you go. Anyways, this month's episode focused on two things. Three if you think about it. The first is kind of giving us another recap of what happened so far. Now, one thing I understand why the show comes out every month is, besides, you know, overloading you with a 30-minute episode of being 5 minutes recap and then the rest, it's not your typical, like, shonen recap, for example. That's the best example I can think of right now. Where you have, you know, oh, here is what happened last week, let's just show the same clips again, maybe have a little narration difference, etc. But it's not like that. It's more so characters going into detail with going, oh, you know, I think this is happening, I think this guy is the one that's causing it, and I think maybe you're the problem, etc. That's the type of recap I'm going at. What was cool about this week's episode, or this month's episode, was that you actually got to see an overview of the whole entire mansion, and you got to see the sites that so far have had murders in them, which I thought was kind of cool. It was a neat little trick to show. It kind of went into almost like a CSI type scenario, which was really awesome. Now, the next part really has E talking to Ilya and various maids over there, and it's more so them kind of insulting the crap out of E. I feel bad for Ichan because he deals with, you know, always being insulted and kind of treated like he's scum for some reason. It's just because he's not as smart as other people, even though if you look at it and you read the information on his character, he is actually very smart. He just decided didn't go through the programs that other people went into. He's actually considered a savant himself. It's just not on the same level as the other ones. He doesn't have the inabilities concept. I mean, he has his own inabilities, but it's more so personal. But the week's episode focused on really more so Ilya, the girl who runs the whole mansion. It's kind of her place. And what's interesting about this is her reactions with Ii-chan almost are freaking kind of nightmarish. Because every time she talks to him, she always insults him and treats him like garbage. Like, she even actually threatened him, like, with the whole, oh, you know, he's like, why don't you call the police? You know, this is a situation we really can't deal with. And she's like, no, if I call the police, maybe they'll think you're the murderer because you failed to save this girl's life. I'm like, oh shit, what? You know, he just had a plan, you know, a plan that hopefully would make it so she would be safe and at the same time not hurt them, but that doesn't mean he's going to be freaking cause of murder, you know, the murder from that. And I love that Ichan, though, he didn't take that like harshly. What he did was he just threw it back in her face. He goes, well, you know, at least I won't be the one looked at for not having, you know, not called him sooner. So I thought that was kind of cool. But the week's episode really concludes with more so learning more about Ilya and her kind of scenario and why she's even on the mansion by herself half the time with only maids there. So apparently, and I'm going to butcher this a little bit, but what she has is akin to self-mutilation or self-harming yourself. It's best example I can think of is, think of an emo person. You know, emo people typically tend to cut themselves to feel, as they say, but you know, it's more so a choice of lifestyle, not a decision to do that because that's their mentality. The mentality factor comes into where Ilya actually hurts herself because she feels inadequate, or she feels like she needs something to push her, to make her go forward. Something that Tomo has in many ways also with her savant syndrome, where she can't actually move forward without, you know, having Ichan around her at times. So that's very interesting. But what was probably very cool, though, is that we learn more about that from the fact that, you know, the maid who almost tried to kill Ichan at one point was strangling him. You know, it was like, this is why she realized that Ichan and her had a lot of things in common with, you know, having to take care of someone, not because per se they want to, but more so because they feel like they have to because of various reasons. But overall, though, very solid episode. I mean, you know, did we get any new murders out of it? No. We got new scenarios that are leading up to obvious things that are going to happen. I'm not going to spoil those things, but for the most part, it wasn't a bad episode. This show, really, I keep saying it, I have to really make sure you understand this, guys and girls. This is a show that you're only going to watch if you really are a huge fan of the light novel, or you're really a fan of mystery stories that really go and explain everything in very vigorous detail, because this whole thing is done in this thing where it's meticulous about how it explains things to you, and I like that, but I understand that not everyone's going to feel the same way. So hopefully you guys will check it out. If you're not, I understand completely. It is on various sites right now. The first 5 episodes can be found on various sites. The last one, like I said, if you want me to, I'll DM you and I'll tell you where I found it. Anyways, guys and girls, as always, if you did like this review, you know what to do. I will talk to you later. Done with reviews tonight. I'm done with everything. I'm just going to go relax today. God bless you all. Bye-bye.